In the small village of Mvizo, deep within the rolling hills of South Africa, a young boy named Nelson Mandela was born in 1918. No one could have imagined that this child, raised among cattle and open lands, would one day become a symbol of global freedom and human dignity. His journey was not easy. It was a road filled with pain, rejection, sacrifice, and endurance. Yet, it became one of the most powerful stories of hope in modern history. Mandela grew up in a time when South Africa was deeply divided by the cruel system of apartheid, a system that judged people not by their hearts or minds, but by the color of their skin. While others accepted it as the law of the land, young Nelson refused to accept it as the law of life. His teachers saw in him a deep fire for justice, a rare calmness mixed with courage. When Mandela entered adulthood, he decided that silence was no longer an option. He studied law, not to build wealth, but to build justice. In the streets of Johannesburg, he met people from every walk of life, black, white, rich, poor, and realized one truth: a divided nation can never stand tall. His belief in equality was not a political slogan, it was a moral duty. But standing up for justice came at a heavy price. Mandela was arrested multiple times. He was banned, silenced, and finally imprisoned for 27 long years. Imagine, 27 years behind cold prison bars, cut off from family, friends, and freedom. Many would have broken under that weight. But not Mandela. His body was imprisoned, but his soul remained free. In those prison years, Mandela learned one of the greatest lessons of life: true strength is not in revenge, but in forgiveness. Every morning he woke up, not with hate in his heart, but with purpose in his mind. He spent years breaking rocks on Robben Island, yet those rocks could not break his will. His heart grew stronger, his vision clearer. When freedom finally arrived in 1990, Mandela walked out of prison with a smile, not bitterness. Reporters expected anger. Instead, they saw grace. "As I walked toward freedom," Mandela once said, "I knew that if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison." That single thought changed the world's understanding of leadership. In 1994, Nelson Mandela became South Africa's first black president. The very system that once rejected him now stood up to salute him. But Mandela didn't seek revenge, he sought unity. He brought together the divided communities of his nation and showed that forgiveness is not weakness, it is the ultimate power. His leadership was not about dominance but about healing. He replaced fear with hope, division with togetherness, and darkness with light. To the youth of today, Mandela's story is not just history, it's a mirror. In a world full of distractions, competition, and pressure, young people often feel powerless. Mandela's life reminds us that real change doesn't start with power, it starts with purpose. You don't need a title to make an impact. You only need courage, patience, and a belief in something greater than yourself. Mandela once said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." These words are more relevant now than ever. For today's youth, education is not just about degrees, it's about awareness, empathy, and moral clarity. The youth of this generation have technology, voice, and platforms that Mandela never had, yet the world still needs the same bravery he showed, the courage to stand for truth even when standing alone. Mandela's journey teaches that leadership is not about control, it's about character. In every setback, he found a seed of growth. When the system tried to silence him, he turned his silence into strength. When they tried to destroy his hope, he turned pain into purpose. His life is living proof that no prison can hold a determined spirit. Today, when we look around, the world still struggles with inequality, racism, and injustice. But Mandela's story whispers through the generations: do not let your circumstances define your destiny. The path of greatness is never smooth. It demands resilience, forgiveness, and vision. If Mandela could rise from the walls of a cell to the heart of a nation, imagine what today's youth can do, with education, technology, and global awareness in their hands. His message to every young person is simple yet timeless. It always seems impossible until it's done. Let those words sink in. Whatever your dream, whether it's building a business, fighting for climate justice, creating art, or leading a nation, remember that impossibility is only an illusion. The real barrier is not outside you, it's the doubt inside you. Once you defeat that, you are already free. Mandela didn't change the world by luck, he changed it by patience, empathy, and action. He didn't seek fame, but his humility made him immortal. He didn't fight for himself, He fought for everyone who had no voice. And that is why his legacy lives on, not in statues or books, but in the hearts of those who dare to believe in humanity. So to every young person reading this or listening to this message, be inspired, but more importantly, be active. Stand for something that matters. Even small acts of kindness can ripple into waves of change. Believe that one person's courage can awaken a nation. And whenever life feels hard or unfair, remember Mandela sitting in his cell, writing freedom into the future with nothing but hope. Mandela's success story isn't just about political freedom, it's about spiritual freedom. It's about forgiving the world even when it breaks you. It's about rising above fear, above hate, above pain, and becoming light. The world will always have injustice, but it will also always have people like Mandela. And maybe, the next Mandela is sitting somewhere reading this right now, dreaming of a better tomorrow, and preparing silently to change the world once again.